Alright, looks like we're live. Okay, good. Yay. Alright, let's give this a whirl. Time to go pick up some books. Alright, so let's see how it's going to pencil. See what we got for us.
Step closer, gentlefolk. Books to enlighten your days.
We need 100, 200 shields. Okay, we got the
Knowledge
strength.
is like a key that unlocks.
Looking for trouble?
Let's get the journeyman book. Well, you can do it. Get the journeyman books. We've got the iron marble. Add those in. And 200.
Greeting.
What's the 100?
Keep going. Outsiders ain't exactly welcome here, but your coin spends the same.
People tomorrow, so we're ready for you. There's some friendlies. Bye. There we go. Okay. Guys, hang on a second. We can probably work this out. No, I guess not. Okay, we're out. Beacon and drive. Come here. Oops, I moved too much. Where you going? Where you going, chicken? Yeah, you'll be back. What do you got? Here's something good. Ooh, nice. Hold on, I'm making a deposit for God's sake. Uh-oh. Who did that? Wasn't you, but you're gonna pay for it. fine. And dodge. Alright, wait a minute. Oof, down. My shoulder blade. Brown arrows, that'll look it. Oh, that's why you were so stingy. You had a lot of good stuff. Incoming. Bookstone. Bonuses going on yet? Let's see that for now. Oh, would be nice to be able to get a nice 70% bonus going. It is what it is. Look at the stamina. Oof. That ought to be plenty for a little while. Alright. Let's see. What do we have going on? So, we're live, and this is the preview branch. So there's lots of new things coming up. Let's take a look at the research and see what I gotta pick up here. I've actually done quite a bit of it already before ever coming out to here. This is all before the live started. I've got probably 20 hours in it on multiple versions. Let's go ahead and we'll start with this. Work our way in. Put some stuff going there. See what we've got for weapons and armor. So added new categories here, which I just noticed earlier tonight when I was playing a 4-player co-op in the pre-release version, so not the preview. This isn't broken down quite as much. So now we've got an extra category here, at least I think we do. Weapons and armors. So, and you can see that I haven't liberated the town in this current playthrough yet. So we're just at the stage prior to liberating probably Herendern. I don't know how to say the name. And just before that goes, I really want to get some of the best armor on my village people so that they're not just a complete worthless waste of space or just complete fodder. So we're researching quite a bit. We're getting all the research done that we can and trying to get everybody up and running. I figure for the farmers and people like that are sticking around in town, I'm going to put straw hats on them so at least I know who they are by sight. They've still got pretty good armor otherwise, and albeit, most of the stuff slows you down pretty bad, but they'll at least be somewhat protected and easy to spot because of the straw hats. So, and then, some of these cool ones like the footman's hat, which is what I'm wearing right now, wouldn't normally have been available in the pre-release version because that's locked by having to have liberated the town and getting some of the apprentices, liberating multiple villages, unfortunately, that were locked behind Tier 2 restrictions before, which made it almost impossible to not impossible, but certainly not easy to get some of this better gear for liberating the town. And I just did a 4-player co-op where we went in and liberated Horrendous, or whatever the heck it's called. Let's take a look at the map here. Whatever the name of this #1 town is. There's 2 towns in here that are named very similar. So the first one is Horrendous, and the other one is Horrendous. So the first one that we liberated earlier in the co-op on the pre-release version was this one, Horrendous, and there were 4 of us, pretty well spec'd up, and we had a pretty tough time with the guards in town. There's a 2-handed sword guy that's in there that's really tough, and we had 3 archers and 1 tank, and multiple deaths without question. Just getting our butts kicked in that liberation try. We made it through, and then we built the bell tower, and we took care of the first reclamation party. And then we did some other things after that, but that was basically the gist of a very long play. In the meantime, we also did other things. We obliterated a handful of bandit base camps, mostly in the south, that are west of Farnworth, to start building in our co-op again, start building our main base in the center area here, west of Farnworth, in between the north and south bridges along the Crimson River. So when the when the reclamation parties come in, they come in from down the south here. I think they start from the prison, but I could be wrong. They could start from any one of these other places here as well, but they'll go either, depending upon where they're going to, of course, they're going to go either to the north or south bridge. And here's the north bridge here that's uncovered in this playthrough, and the south bridge is down here. And so the primary, especially if it's going over to the east side, obviously it's going to go through that south bridge because that's the closest place for them to go. And then when they do come running, they tend to cut up the map. Instead of taking the surface roads, they'll actually cut right through the forest, which I didn't think the reclamation parties and some of those other guys would do, but we found out in live gameplay that that's exactly what they did. They would go after kind of the shortest path, most likely what most of us do, which is, make a beeline for it, straight line through, instead of taking the surface roads, which obviously takes quite a bit longer. So, all right, what are we doing here? So, let's see. We're gonna lose our combat, which is no fun. So what else are we gonna pick up here? Probably just, that's worthless. Productivity doesn't help me at all. It's good for my villagers here. I'll go ahead and do this. Keep our stamina way up because we spend a lot with the arrows. And speaking of which, always looking for arrows. Always hurting for arrows there. I'll put that shovel away. Put the books away too, so we can go ahead and get some more arrows on us. And what do we got going on here? So anyway, just to give everyone a kind of an overview, right? So I like to call this the cheese factory. We've heard tell that in later versions of the game that bandits will be able to knock down these fences, so you won't be able to hide here for very long. And it's not perfect by any stretch. This area behind me over here, behind the rocks, is fairly prime for the good archers that do come through here, because they'll stand on the other side of this rock. They can't jump up here, not yet anyway. I'm told that there's a great possibility that they'll be able to jump and climb just like we can in the later stages of the game, but for right now they stand on the other side here, and you can shoot over these rocks. And I'll give you a view here when you're looking at this, and you can see that your head is above the rock, and there's really no place to get 100% protected from it. So they can shoot you here. So if they get around the backside, you're pretty much fair game, especially when the bad guys are going to be coming right up to the fence, and you know they're faced on the fence and they're beating on it, trying to get in like angry tigers. And you know you're shooting them in the face just above the fence line, and you get your back to some pretty buffed up archers for this level, with bronze arrows, and so they shoot you in the head, and it's usually a one-shot kill. With this much HP, I'm going to be a little tougher to take down, but unless somebody comes in to join the party here, I may just be wasting really good food off of these bandits for doing nothing than talking and watching me read a one-handed book here. So this is kind of lame. Wondering where we should go from here. It's almost time for the day change. Usually we get pretty good bandits come through here on a regular basis, so they will come from both the east and the west, cutting across that road over there. So you'll see bandits in a pretty good line of progression. And then back over here, that's one of the bridges for the Crimson River over there that feeds into this area. And give you an idea where that's at here. So that's the north bridge there, and they'll come across here and then cut across to go over to this big bandit encampment. So they kind of cut through the swamp here and come over. And the same thing that you've seen probably 100 times in Blackridge Pool, where there's a swarm of bandits that come through Blackridge Pool, or around it anyway. And so it all kind of culminates here into this, you know, again, what I refer to as the cheese factory, because I'll sit here sometime for hours on end and farm renown and books and food and gold and, I mean, literally just all kinds of stuff. Not the seeds, of course, but you know, hide and fur and thatch. We find a lot for some reason, and they will they'll drop, you know, tons of stuff, and sometimes those guys are loaded, you know, 6, 7, 8 deep. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they have one thing on them, and you know, it could just be gold, or it could be, you know, again, thatch. But I haven't had to make thatch or iron nails for quite some time, because there's so much that gets dropped off of these mobs down here that it just keeps it rolling. And if you saw over on the left-hand side a moment ago, the delivery that just got sent out of here going back to my main town. So Peteville is the name of the area that I'm in right now, not Cheese Factory, but Peteville. So I had a bunch of cranberries in here, and there was one hide, there was one fur, there's 2 iron nails in here. Bandages, they're always dropping bandages too, and then of course food. So I've got a bunch of different foods that are being sent back up. I had 2 fish that were in here. They got sent, and of course they dig peat out of the local area that's not too far from where I'm standing right now. So, which is the reason you come down here in the first place, is to go get peat moss so that you can feed the furnace. And then since I had plenty of villagers and some people that needed a new place to roam, we went ahead and built a farm down here. So at first I was worried that you weren't going to be able to do it with all the stumps that are in here, but you take a look, she's got nothing planted the way it looks now, but and the farms don't do great down here. Of course, the person's not a very good farmer either. So, and there is a well here. But if you look at it, it's just terrible. The swamp grass grows over everything, and it just makes it look hideous. But still grows food. I'm not sure if they have fertility in the mix of farming yet. I haven't heard anything about it, nor have I asked, but I'll have to check on that. But right now, the villagers that I have in here, let's take a look at that. So in Peakville, the population, so these two, and Lubomir, everybody knows who that guy is, right? That's your first NPC that you pick up when you first start the game. And he doesn't have great stats, but at least he's, you know, usable. And then Liza, she's just somebody I picked up from one of the villages. Again, I can't remember what, and hopefully one of these days they'll put a stat up here that says what village you recruited her from, but, you know, because otherwise you get that carpetbagger debuff, which is -5 on their morale. But right now, Lubomir is not part of any village, right? You pick him up because he's been ousted from the village. You pick him up, and so he doesn't count against your morale. And Liza, doesn't matter, you know, what village she came from, because right now she's one of one, so there's no worry about that. She still gets a dreary debuff when it's raining, but it is what it is. So taking a look at her attributes, she's got a 4/4 farming, so productivity is not too bad, plus 22%, 43 on the resource yield. She pulls in pretty good stats, and if you take a look at the farm that's down here, and take a look at the statistics, today I did nothing. Yesterday, 49 onions, 26 beetroot, and 11 potatoes. And for a, you know, what would be considered normally kind of a throwaway space, that's really not too terrible, right? They can certainly feed themselves off of that. And I mean, that's going back to my main village every night, so, or at least pretty much most of the time. You see producing all times. They're doing pretty good. I mean, 329 radishes, 137 potatoes, and this hasn't been down there for, you know, maybe a couple of weeks in game, if that long. I don't even think it's been that long, to be honest with you. Like, well, I say weeks, I should say seasons, because you know how it switches from summer to winter here in just like a moment's notice, right? So 3-4 days, and then all of a sudden it's weather changes, and that's probably happened maybe 3 times, maybe twice. It could, I don't think it could have been 3 times yet. So 2 seasons, quite a bit of food out of the swamp, right? Which would be Lubomir down here doing nothing, and there's a couple of, I'll give you a little bit of a tour, right? So you've got the stockpile, obviously, which is cool because I can reach it from the fence. I can do everything that I need to do here and then just hop back over the cheese factory fence and stay protected from 90% of the stuff, the threats that are here. Because I'm constantly needing arrows, there's a simple workbench down here, so Lubomir is pretty good about keeping that stocked up. I've got a top off for 10 packs of arrows to be crafted down here, and they do pretty well and keep it going pretty good. And as you may or may not be aware, there's river reeds. I guess that's west of me and east of me, and there's just a ton of it. And river reed can be harvested in both summer and winter. And then there's sticks everywhere within the radius. So getting wood down here is usually not too big of a deal, but if it ever becomes a problem where they start running out of wood, you'll notice we cut down, you know, again, I say that as if anybody's ever seen this area before, so if you're not familiar, normally this swamp area is just loaded with forest. So there's tons of trees through here, so you can't see anything around the horizon. If I'm making you dizzy, I apologize. But, you know, looking across this, you really couldn't see past that mud hut that's right in front of me there. And the rest of it was forest. And so I've gone through and clear cut everything down. There's a bunch of logs out there, nothing too big. And I could put a logging spot here so that Lubomir or Liza could start chopping those logs and making wood for the arrows that I'm using to kill the bandits down here. But again, worst case scenario is my main village also makes you know, a ton of arrows, and I could have them send, you know, 10 packs a day down here, even more if I wanted. So the delivery system's working pretty well for that, and being able to move that stuff back and forth is not too bad. I usually travel with at least 120 arrows, sometimes as many as 150. But as you know, with limited carry capacity in the early stages, you really can't get too much on you. So you're limited to it at most 150. That's the biggest bag you've got on you. Until you're able to make the backpack. I'm not sure how many more slots that does. And I'm using no mods, especially on the preview branch, because that could cause major issues. So, although Void Kitten is apparently doing just a bang-up job on the mods, and in the Discord with the developers, and they're constantly talking back and forth and relaying information, and you know what things need to be corrected in order for these mods to continue working, etc. And it's just such an open dialogue. It's fantastic. I've never seen such a healthy communication as these guys have in Discord. You know, the developers and even the players. You know, okay, so yeah, there's pre-release bugs that we all feel, and you know, it's definitely one of those things where you expect it, but then it gets really annoying when stuff, you know, causes gameplay lag. And you know, the things like earlier tonight, I was playing in a 4-player co-op on the pre-release version, so not the quote-unquote beta, or the preview branch, which is really kind of the cutting edge, right? The bleeding edge of what the devs are doing. Literally, you know, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they had on a Sunday before Memorial Day, they were putting out patches for the stuff that they had just released on Saturday. So these guys are working around the clock, nonstop. It's great. Anyway, so going back to what I was saying, so the 4-player co-op that we were on earlier, we were every time you got killed, instead of being able to respawn, you kept getting the prompt, you know, press F or whatever your key is to respawn, and you would actually respawn, but you couldn't do anything. You couldn't pick anything up. You couldn't communicate with anything. You couldn't use any other keys. I guess you could move stuff in and out of your bags, or move it around in your backpack or whatever. But you couldn't actually go anywhere. You couldn't use the fast travel signs. You couldn't interact with any of the buildings or anything like that. So it gets really annoying. The only way to do it is, the only way to fix that is to quit to the main menu and then go back into the co-op, which, you know, takes about a minute. But when you're in the heat of a battle and you're going at it with your buddies out there that are getting their butts shot off, you want to get back into the fray as quick as possible. So having that extra minute of downtime because you've got to quit the game and come back in, I mean, that sucks and it's frustrating. And in the game that we're playing, where the raids are set to impossible, and they are tough, even with 30 villagers and 4 live players going at it like crazy with coordinated efforts and communication. You know, everybody's talking in Discord, so there's full-on communication and coordination with the mobs, and the NPCs rather. Even then, it's tough. Those guys are coming in and they're slinging arrows every which way, and you know, of course, the hits. Oh man, and they're wearing heavy armor, and so our simple arrows are just basically bouncing off of them and doing no damage. And if you don't hit them in the eyeball, you're pretty well SOL. Okay, let's see what else we got. You guys got fed, so that's good. Did you leave me any food? No, because we shipped it all up north. Wonderful. Alright, well, nothing's coming through here. Let's boogie it back up to the main village, and I'll give you guys a sneak peek of what's going on. Let's look at what's happening up there. And then maybe we'll go on an adventure and try not to die. It's not easy in this game, especially when you're solo. Get up here. Where is everybody? Everybody's out and about already. Scattered to hell and breakfast, as my father would say. Let's take a look. What are you doing? You're delivering something. What are you delivering? Waiting for employment, mud collector. What do you got in your inventory? Nothing. Not even enough arrows. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and pack you up. Good thing I checked you. And what are you doing? Picked up a shovel and going to collect mud. I think awesome. Wonderful. And then you're cooking, so that's looking good. Of course, we're just smoking stuff, which is not the greatest food or the best use of it, but, you know, forget about the cauldrons. I mean, those are only set to... What are you doing here? Okay, make fine stew and meat stew and mushroom stew and berry jam, but don't bother that. Just take the meat and throw it on the smoker instead, because that makes a lot more sense. I guess it's all mushrooms, isn't it? Is it all mushrooms? No, there's small pieces of raw meat in there, so I don't know what the hell the problem with that is. I'm guessing we take a look at the productivity, or the what's it under? Cauldrons are all on
I'm
1.
working.
I know you're working, but you're not doing it fast enough. The smoking rack is set at 5. Why on earth are you smoking meat instead of putting it into the campfires, which are all sitting here empty? And you're probably making berry jam. Watch. Yep, I knew it. And berry jam is set down. Mushroom stew. Maybe you don't have any mushrooms. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. Do we have any mushrooms in the store? Food rations. Yeah, we got some, but I don't know where they're at. And that's yet another thing, right? Is you know that you have some. The question is where are they? Well, there's 2 of them right here. So why are you not using them? You got garlic, you got sage, you got all kinds of good stuff. What are you packing in here now? Oh, now you're making mushroom stew. Now you're making berry jam. This one's berry jam too, if I know right, yeah. Okay, so
Curious times we live in.
why?
With talk of wars and
Let's
rebels
see,
and
you're
such.
set to mushroom stew. Fine stew takes, oh, it's raw meat, that's why, because they don't have any small meat. Man, I'll tell you what, you gotta stay on top of this stuff, right? So, small pieces of raw meat. What's going on with our hunters? What are these guys doing? Got 1 hunter's camp out there. 1 person's probably doing not much. Nothing today. Yesterday, the only thing they brought in was small meat. But they had been doing better, so I wonder if it's maybe not time to move the hunter's camp. It's not very close, or it's not very far. It's probably not in the best area for anymore, right? So maybe it's just that they're getting small game now. All the deer and the boar are gone. And the only thing they've got left is rabbits and crows. The wolves, I think, are pretty well done for up here. We've farmed them out completely. Oh, I didn't take you on a tour of the village, but that's alright. We'll do that in a minute. Okay, so another signpost here. I started creating this area here to make the southern end of the village and really kind of make it homey, right? Do some of the cool things, make it look like a village. We don't have any decorations in, but you can kind of fake it with fence line and the natural plants that are here. And until we get things like the rock walls and whatever other decorations they're going to put in the game to really make it kind of homey looking. Is that tin over there? I think that's tin. Looks like iron ore, but it's not. Yeah, it's 10. That's what I thought. Okay, well we don't need any 10 right now, but we got... I just saw a deer hop through here, right? Didn't I? You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw a deer there just a second ago. And... okay, so... I don't know about you, but I have no idea how far 500 meters is, or how fast I run, to be able to gauge how far anything is. There's no gauge inside the game to tell you how big a meter is. But there's my hunting lodge. And we just saw a deer right around that corner. So I gotta think that that's well within the 500 meter range. And that's gotta be a boar there, right? Or is that a wolf? Whatever it is about to be dead. That was a boar, see? That sucker's right up on me too. I don't need to be a party to that right now. So let's just help them get some game here. Yeah, whatever. Have a nice day. I guess I could have stayed on the ground. I keep forgetting that in my solo version I got pretty high strength and level 10 archery. So 6 out of 10 and good agility too. So even with simple arrows, I can take stuff down pretty quick. Alright, well we got some meat to add to the game, so that's good. Steaks on the menu tonight. Oh, here, while we're here, we might as well take a look around. So this is an extension of my primary village, which is just northeast of here. South of the first town that you ever come into, Horrendous. And we got a couple of farms over here. Obviously they're growing wheat like crazy here. A couple of barns, compost heaps. There's a water catcher right there. Another farm, sage, and what is that? Turnips over here. Potatoes. We got a lot of good stuff going on here as I smack into it. The T2 Village Hall, which I found out the hard way, you can't easily relocate. I was thinking, you know, about expanding my village over here and, you know, having the small settlement over there. Yeah, let's go get that raid. Having a small settlement up here first, and then expanding over to this side. And come to find out that I didn't really like it too much. I didn't like the looks of it. The land over there is kind of hilly, and it's not real conducive to having a lot of buildings on it. So it's kind of like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? I bet you I won't be able to get into this thing. I'm going to have to run way too far out of the way to actually get this. Let's see. Can I get there in time? Oh yeah, I can still make it. Get in. Go. Where's that raid party at? Okay. Phew. Just made it. Alright. I mean, the axe is missing for a logging camp. Fine. Yeah, you guys will figure it out. You'll make more axes. There's like 18,000 of them in the storage racks. So I'm not too worried about it. Here they come, guys. Just in time. Alright, let's start putting the herd on them. I'm going to leave my villagers to go ahead and hide in a hut. They'll, once they see that the bandits are coming, they'll go ahead and bug out. So let's take these guys out. This is supposedly a medium raid, and it's not very good. Come here. Whatever. Just be gone with yourself. Okay, I got back up. Oh, yeah, get over here. Come here where I can see your face. If I don't kill this guy soon, thank God. You got to kill him quick, because it's like capture the flag. If one of them gets through and they make it to whatever storage you have, then you'll lose the raid, and they will just take hundreds of your items and walk away, which I think is kind of a joke when you consider there's not that much in there to begin with. I'm not sure how the devs count either, because you know, when you get the raid report, then it says, oh yeah, they sold 632 items. Uh-oh, that guy's coming. Oh, I just got shot. Somehow or another, I'm not sure how the devs count or what they count as an item. Maybe it's a space. It's hard to say, because you know how certain items take up multiple spaces, and maybe that's what they're counting. I'm not really sure. But they basically say, okay, these guys made off with 600 of your items, and then you go into the whatever, walk away. Don't you guys want to shoot at me? No? Really? I guess I can't talk and shoot at the same time because I'm stupid. I hear you knocking on the building. You can wait. Okay, well, what? Come on over here. Over here, over here. Let's go. There you go. See, this is why I call this the cheese factory, right? Because I'm pretty well protected and these guys aren't. So it's a bit cheesy, and you know what? Until the devs take it away, I'm going to use it. It's kind of like using the seed bag for your NPCs to carry a lot more stuff in here. You guys are kind of melding in the one thing here. Why don't you both die at the same time? No, that's too easy. Bye. Where are you? You're not going to get away that easily. Oh, yeah. Can't see him in the grass. Wish I could tell Lubomir to cut the grass. That'd be better. Alright. Let's see what we can get away with here. Got a book, thatch, hide, iron nails, fur. I mean, this is the stuff they drop all day long. And these are the regular mobs, right? So I killed that raid, stopped them. You gotta lead these guys so much. Probably not that much, it's crazy. That was bad. Bad. Yeah, he's gonna go hang out over in the deep water. So. Nope, stay there. Oh, you suck. And I'm still not good at using WASD for moving around. So I constantly find myself hitting the Q key and the escape key and the 1 key because my fingers are fat and they're just, it's not easy. And F, right? Hit F 1,000 times instead of D when I want to move sideways, and it's just a nightmare. But anyway, be that as it may. So I'm not trying to make excuses for why my gameplay sucks so bad, but it is what it is. But you see the stuff that I just packed away in the storage or in the stockpile there, thatch and fur and all kinds of good stuff. So this is really a good place to farm. I mean, normally it's a lot more than the onesie twosies that's walking in there. There's a bunch behind it. Look, they're coming in right out there. It's probably hard for you to see in the video, but there'll be a bunch of guys coming here in a second. And I say a bunch. It's probably another 4 to 6. And they don't look like they're super high-end guys either. They're the same guys that you see here. They're not heavily armored. They do have bronze arrows, or the archers do, and they sting when they hit. With this armor that we have, here it comes, right? Watch. Oh, that stuff. Yeah. You don't want to stick around up there for too long because those things hurt. And I've got a bunch of bandages that I've picked up, so these guys with the gimp mask, it's crazy. I don't know how that thing's so tough, but you can hit them in the head all day and not do a ton of damage at this level, but especially when you're first getting started. So I'll just bandage up here. Not that we need it. I'm sure. I don't think there's any food here. Did we put any in yet? No, not yet. Oh, there's a little bit. There's something to chew on. You didn't keep moving. I can't see my reticle. Once you get the distance down, you can pretty much rapid fire and keep that guy from hitting you, but there's somebody shooting you from over there, so... Great, he's got the crossing on me. And see what I mean about these guys back here too? Oh, it sucks. They get around behind you and you're busy surrounded. These guys got me triangulated. And they can do a lot of damage quick. Because those arrows hurt bad. They do 100 and plus damage. 118, I think I saw. So they sting. Hopefully the guy to my left is going to keep shooting over my head. And the guy that's coming up there, I think he can hit me. Oh no, see that stun. Deeper down in here. Where is it? Okay, I think that's all he's got. So. Hit him too hard. Where are you? I hope it's you. You're dead now. Get out of here. So I was saying, if you can get them, if you can hit them like this and get them stunned, you can get some rapid fire shots in before they get any more shots off. What is going on here right now? No ammo. Wonderful. Beautiful. What are the chances one of you guys nearby has any ammo on it? Probably none. Oh, God. About the only thing you can do now is just hide behind the fence. Pray for daylight. Alright, I don't think there's any ammo in here. This stupid thing, you can't actually interact with anything while you're in combat mode. So stupid. Alright, let's go back. Loaded up on arrows, thank you, Livermere. There'll be plenty to pick up after this is over. Where are you, really? Keep this at fence. Take that with you. Oh! I am not good at this game. Alright, let's see if we can find you over there. There you go. Nope, we're going to the left. He's in a veer right, isn't he? Stay on him, stay on him, stay on him. You need one for your face, don't you? There you go. Are you out of arrows? Oh, that's too bad. I was out of arrows too once. And then I found some more. They were just hiding there. Alright, let's go collect. Where'd you go? Now, of course, I gotta get to the edge. Oh, but you had pizza, so that's good. Nice. Everybody likes a good slice of pizza. There's like an invisible wall right here. It's crazy. Alright. I know there's some down here. Pick it up. Hey, look, more thatch. Again. If you farm this area down here, you'll probably never have to make thatch or nails again. Is that it? That's what you guys left me? That's what you were fighting so hard to keep? Look at all these crappy shots. Short. I must have been low on stamina, or my finger hurt from pressing the button too hard. Well, I think... Did you guys pick up all the rest of that loot? I hope so. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Just send this stuff up yonder. Boar tusk, I don't have that set for delivery, so I'll have to do that. Hey, no, wait. I'm gonna eat that. Sorry, you guys can't have that. Where are we at on... Rating one-handed, almost done. Oh, that's too bad. I should have gotten a cranberry in just before that finished and gotten a bump at 30%. That's alright. We'll do it again. What do we need? Strength we got. Cooking I don't need. One-handed. One-handed journeyman. Let's take a look. What do we need here? It's easier to see. Let's just do this. 1500 on one-handed. That'll be good. And then let's grab... I don't need to grab it from here. Grab the fish. What else do we need? We'll leave the seeds down here for these guys. And let's boogie up north. Out of my way. We'll zip up north and go see what's going on in the main village again. And this is the grind. You know, as you build up your villages and get all the stuff that you need. Like here, I'm farming renown and mats and gold. I guess it's called gold in the game. I'm not sure. Coins, whatever it is. So picking that stuff up and getting these guys all set up. I mean, we all look like twinsies. Look, it's amazing. All right, let's get this stuff in here. Get that out of here. You know what? What do I need? Why do I need this boar tusk? What is going on with my staggering game? I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I may have too many things happening on my screen right now. We got 978. We'll drop that in there.
Curious times we live in, with talk of wars and rebels and such.
Very curious time we live in. You guys can deal with the spoiled food. No, I'm not touching that. Okay, so let's take a look at... Let's check on the feed to see if you guys are seeing that stutter or not. I don't think you are. It's just me. So let's take a look. So right up there, just north of our village here. So I'm right here. And there's that first village that you guys come into when you come down from the top of the hill. Right? You run down the road and you come into Herndine and you talk to the elder there. And he says, no, you can't live here. You can build outside. I think it's right up there. But anyway, he says, no, you can build your own village outside. Have a nice life. And so you start doing that. And so in this playthrough, I decided I'm going to go ahead and park right outside the front gate. So 12 o'clock right there, right above that guy's head, you can see their opening for their village. That's the entrance down their main driveway, I guess, that goes into the village. Anyway, so checking this out, these are all tier 2 houses. They all hold 3 villagers apiece. You start off with your personal hut and your housing tent for your villagers that you recruit. And from there, you go up to tier 2 and you can build these houses. The personal hut, obviously, that's only for yourself. The housing tent, that'll hold up to 2 villagers. And the houses, which are a bit nicer, they get a little morale boost. They hold 3 villagers. And so you can see we've got quite a few of those spread out here, and there's a couple more besides. So this is my main village encampment. So you've got a house, you've got a weapon rack. Over here we've got stockpiles filled with resources and materials. And then here is a fast travel sign. You can build these. They cost 150 renown, 2 logs, 2 stone, and 5 wood. And then you can place them anywhere that's close to a road. And from here, you can fast travel, which you guys have seen me do here multiple times now, into any one of these other travel signs that that don't have a red X on them. So if they have a red X on them, it means there's foes nearby, and so it won't let you travel to it. If you go to click on it here and you say, okay, I want to use fast travel, it says no foes are nearby. Fast travel is possible. You click travel, and you're instantly transported there. There's no time lost. The timer in the lower right-hand corner by the mini-map down there, it doesn't, you don't lose any travel, or you don't lose any daylight or anything. So if you need to get someplace with a quickness, which is, we all want to get someplace fast. We never want to be walking across the map because this thing is huge. And with the armor on and stuff, it takes forever to actually get from one place to another. So especially when your strength and your agility are low, you just lumber along, not nearly as slow as the villagers. Boy, look at these guys. They move like turtles. And this is, not even with great armor on. Can you imagine these guys walking around in plate mail? They'd be moving backwards, for God's sake. So, there are occasions where you see 1 or 2 of these people that move at a pretty good clip, and I'm not sure why. I think they have special attributes. So it's hard to say, but while we're talking about that, let's take a look at our population. So, in general, these are the people that we have in our village that we've recruited from all the different villages around us. And any place that you get at least friend level trust or higher, you can then start to recruit villagers from that village and have them come work with you or live with you in your village, in your new village, to help you liberate the other towns and do whatever it is you want to do. They work in your village. They're essentially slaves, I guess, right? For lack of a better term. You feed them, you clothe them. Sometimes you don't feed them, and they just wander off and they do their own thing and find food if it's not winter. And other times, you take pretty good care of them. You give them armor and weapons, and you train them with books, and so you raise their skill levels and different things. And so we'll jump in and take a look at any of these. It doesn't really matter. Let's grab Fanny here. She's got some pretty good stats. So, you can see that she's got a +3, 7 out of 8. 8 is her maximum. She's currently sitting at 7. She's got a +3 from whatever she got. So that's right here, this special attribute. When I picked her up in town, it said she's a swordman, and she's got +3 on one-handed, +50% cutting damage, attack speed of +20%, and piercing damage of +50%. So you want to give her a sword, but look, she's also got 5 out of 9 for archery and 4 out of 5 for agility. So she's got a +1% on attack speed, movement acceleration of 12%, movement speed is +16%. Her strength's not great, but it, again, it's got a maximum of 6, so I can start her on reading a book. And the way that works is if you have these books in your inventory, it has to be in your inventory or their inventory. If you put it on on an NPC's inventory, you don't know whether they're going to hold it for very long. So if they're not standing right next to you and you've got them in this view of looking at them, like if is there anybody? Everybody went to bed. Hey, wait, before you go to bed, come here. Let me show everybody what happens. So if you grab somebody in this inspect view, you'll hold their attention, and they won't just walk away, even if they're super hungry or anything else. This guy's looks like he's taken a midnight snack to bed with him. He's got something in his hand here that I can't see right now, and if I get out of this screen, here. No, there you go. So he's carrying something. Who knows what it is? Inventory. He's got a bunch of food. He's got spoiled food. He's got some good radishes on him. And it's cool. They carry it under their arm like this instead of in a basket or anything. Right? It's neat seeing them carry stuff. Anyway, so if you grab them here like this and you get their focused attention, they won't just walk away from you, even if they're super hungry, right? Because you could be handing them food or whatever. It's kind of like talking to your dog, maybe. So you got this guy here. You can check his inventory, which you cannot do any other time. You have to be inspecting them in order to look and interact with their inventory and anything that they're wearing, weapons, armor, and all that. You can always see their stats, their attributes, whether you have their attention or not. So you can go into the the population menu and look at each one of your villagers independently and see what their combat work attributes, all this stuff is. You can see all of this stuff from there, and you can manipulate it. Now, back to the books. If I have a book in my inventory and I put it in his and then let him go, he could and probably will very likely take that book and go deposit it in some stockpile somewhere, God knows where. And you'll never be able to find it. You'll be running around from stockpile to stockpile, and who knows where it is. You really have to micromanage your stockpiles and your storage lockers and your barns, your storage chests, I guess they're called, camp chests. And you really have to micromanage them and say, this is allowed, this isn't allowed, I want this many of this.
Tells me winter's on its way.
Yeah, winter is on its way. And we'll get into that at a later time. But for right now, if you put this book in his inventory, you can then go into his attributes, and you'll see a plus sign next to something, hopefully, as long as it's something he can use. So the book has to be in something he isn't maxed out on. So if you see that he's got 6 out of 6 here for cooking, let's say, and you put a cooking book on him, this won't light up. And you can never increase it past this right side number. So if it's a maximum of 5, like mine's a maximum of 10. Yours will be a maximum of 10. The NPC villagers, theirs vary. Some of them are really low, like 0 of 1. Like beggars, if you go take a look at them, their stats usually are just terrible. And then there's other villagers where, there's some special villagers that are out there that have these attributes. I have seen players say in like Discord before that they have found them with a cap of 10, and they were at 8 already or something like that. But they were very expensive as far as renown. That's what it cost to get them, and of course you had to have special relationship with a town, either protector or Bellwright, in order to get them. And they might have cost 5,000 renown, which right now we're at 4,900, so I wouldn't be able to get them anyway. All right, so Paul Hastings is, he doesn't have anything I really want to necessarily beef up, and I'm not holding anything that I could work with. So I take my focus off of him, let him go. He got the Z's over his head, so he's going to bed, which would make sense because it's 12:30 in the morning. And now we'll move on to taking a look at the books that are in my inventory right now. So what do we got? We've got an expert book of cooking. It requires a level 9. I don't think I have anybody in the village with a cooking of 9. A journeyman book of one-handed. These are the ones that I picked up. So a required minimum of 3. I've got 2 of those. A journeyman book of strength, required level 3. Another one. And another book of strength. I think those are all the ones that I bought. That's what it feels like anyway. And then we'll come over here to my personal storage, and it's got master, 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 those are all 7 and above. Master, Master, and then finally an expert book, which requires a level of 9. So if you take a look at the stats, if it doesn't say 9 here, you can't put them on that book. They won't read it. So this will stay grayed out. If you have a book in your inventory and they're not reading a book, by the way, they can't already be reading something. You can't double stack. So it's only available if they're not already reading something. You'll see the plus sign in front of that thing light up. And so you can click that plus sign and they'll start reading that book. It doesn't matter if they're asleep. It doesn't matter if they're out doing something, they're hunting, they're, whatever. They can't be dead. And in the co-op version, if you're not the host, you can't get people when they're asleep. Only the host can get them when they're asleep. I don't know why that is. It's very strange. But for everybody else, at any other time, you can click on this, and reading that book will give them whatever experience it is for that book, whether it be 500, 1,500, 3,000, or 6,000. I think those are the 4. Let's see. Sorry about that. Let's take a look, because we've got them all in here. So the apprentice one is 500. The journeyman is 1,500. The master is 6,000. And the expert is 9,000. And then there's another one called proficient, which I think I have one over here perhaps. Yeah, we got a lot of books. And again, farming these books is just something you can do at, something like the cheese factory. And I'll show you guys where that is if you're really interested in setting one up for yourself down there, because it's a great area for doing this. You can make me go all the way to the end. Oh, I don't. Where is the proficient book? Oh, I don't have it anymore. Okay, well, there was a proficient book of, what the heck was it in? I want to say it was one-handed or two-handed, perhaps. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't take my word on that. But there was another book that said proficient. And I think you had to be a real high level, 7 or 9. And so I'm guessing it was probably 6,000 or 9,000 XP. So back to these books then. So when you put these on somebody, again, if you're going for this, let's just take a look at a master. So if you've got somebody that's got a level 7 in whatever it is, like in this case, it's cooking. So you take that cooking, and then you go into your villager menu. Whoops. So you hit the tab key, and you go in your population, and come over here to this drop down over here, this general, and change it to work attributes, and then take a look for cooking. So this little symbol right here, and look and see if you've got anybody with at least a 7. There's an 8, and a 6 out of 7, and that's it. So I've got those 2, right? It's hard to find people with really high stats, especially this early in the game. Okay, so Fanny, she's got an 8 out of 10, right? And if we go take a look at her attributes, the cooking, we can see what the levels are. So 80% plus cooking speed, plus 63% on productivity, and then you come down here where the line is, and it tells you the experience to the next level. So to go from 8 to 9, she's got to get 28,000 experience points, right? And so I can take the book that's in my inventory, wherever the heck I put it, and give her another 6,000 XP by just having her read this book. They also get, obviously, experience for doing the activity, whatever it is, crafting or hunting or farming, laboring, that sort of thing. And every time they do something, they get a little bit of XP. Now, mind you, if you take a rugged pickaxe and you go out and you mine iron ore, you're getting 5 XP per hit every time you hit that rock. It sounds like it would add up quick. But when you go out there and you mine for real lifetime, 30 minutes, and you come back with 20 or 30 ore, and you roughly swing about once per second. Roughly. That's if your finger doesn't get tired, because you got to hold the left mouse button down in order for, for every swing at that rock. So you can basically get, 60 swings a minute at, again, 5 XP. So you're only making 300 XP even at this level where I'm at right now. And that, I believe, falls under harvesting. So every time you hit this, look, I need to get 3,000 XP in order to get up there. So just hitting a rock, it's going to take you a long time before you build up your harvesting skill. So you want to read books, and you want to put books on your people, or you want them to read books, I should say. So you want to spend the money at the vendors that sell books, and there's a few of those around. So you go to those different vendors, and I think you saw me at the early stages of this live tonight, and you saw me pick up those journeyman books, and that was in Padstow, and then Herndeen, however the hell you say it. There's the apprentice book seller is in there, and I'm not sure if and where there's a master book seller, but most of all the books that you see here, save a handful, have been farmed. So they come on mob drops. So every time you kill a bandit, there's a chance that they'll drop one or more of those books. Sometimes they drop 3 or 4. It's crazy on some of the harder levels. So you get some pretty good drops. But anyway, so that's how you build your XP, by doing these different things, by reading books that will give you strength, agility, one-handed, two-handed, shields, or archery, and you progress over the game. And obviously, each one of these gives you something extra. Like, here's your health bar here, here's your stamina bar here, and your strength is going to be your max HP and your stamina, and of course your damage bonus. But this is what makes that bar grow to the right, because otherwise normally it's way down over here, and you got almost no health and you got no stamina. So getting anywhere is kind of a drag. And then you eat food, and that gives you a stamina boost and an HP boost, but it's only for a short duration. It says 8 hours. 8 hours in game time is not very long. So I've been talking for probably the last 10 minutes, and it went from 12:30 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the morning. So 4.5 hours jump by. That goes by really quick. Another thing that I've learned through conversations and through gameplay is that you can help boost this XP right here that you're getting off of this book. I'm not 100% convinced that this works every time, but if you take a look, I'm reading one-handed. So currently we're at 2054. So that's going to take us to 2554, or 3554 rather. It's hard to do math at 3:30 in the morning. So it's going to take you to 3354, and there's cranberries in hopefully this box. Yes, cranberries will give you an extra 30% skill gain on that XP. So, take that 1500, add another 450 to it, 30% of 1500. And so now you've got just about 2,000, roughly just under 2,000 XP that you're getting out of reading that 1,500 XP book. Now, I've been told that you have to have this buff working when you're done reading the book, because that's when you get awarded the XP. I've done it where I've had this buff on when I started reading the book, and tried to keep it on through the duration of reading the book, not knowing exactly, when it takes into account that you have this buff on. But suffice it to say, I want as much XP as I can possibly get. So I'm going to have this on me and get it ready to go in my quick slot. So if I press number 4, it'll consume this. and go take a look and see how much time I got left. I got about 50% left. So, what did they say? I think 30 minutes of real time for 500 XP, I think. Takes about 30 minutes of real time. So this would be, I think, roughly 90 minutes. And so we got about 45 minutes left to go. Unfortunately, the cranberry that I just stuck in my inventory is probably going to time out, meaning it's going to spoil in my inventory. It spoils faster in your inventory than it does sitting in a box. I'm not sure how long. Now, I do know that they say that cooked food spoils less quickly than it did in this version of the game than it did in the pre-release version, the version that you buy on Steam and that you play without going into the preview branch, or, you know, what I would call the beta. So the mods have tweaked this out a little bit, and the food that you cook, and other people have said raw meat and vegetables as well, fruits and vegetables, I should say, because cranberries are
I'm
fruit,
working.
that they spoil less quickly than they did in that version, in the other, the pre-release version of the game, which was a huge gripe, because you'd have these things on you, and all of a sudden you'd have just tons of slots in your inventory filled with spoiled food, because you're consuming it, and then the bars underneath your health and stamina over here shows the 3 slots of food that you've got going, and you'll watch the bar get lower and lower and lower as the effect wears off, right? It's kind of like metabolism, I guess. And it starts off with the first one, and they just kind of jump down into this spot. So the only one that's actually losing any value on it is this farthest to the left. And so it's like you're metabolizing this one, and then it disappears, and then these 2 that you had here will move over, you know, jump over 1 slot, and then you'll start metabolizing the next one in order. And you see this one's already lost a little sliver of that blue line, and so it is spoiling in my inventory. And when I consume it, it'll go into this upper left, this furthest left slot, and you'll see that it basically shows, you know, for lack of a better term, full health of, you know, whatever it is. So even if you let this get all the way down to a very tiny little sliver of what's left on its useful life, when you consume it, it gives you 100% of its value, no matter what it was. And so it says how long the duration is. Like you get this 3 hours satiating for your hunger. So it'll keep you full, quote unquote, full for 3 hours of game time, which I don't know. I've never worked out the math how long that is in real life. And then what you get for health regeneration, stamina regeneration, and any bonuses underneath it. So in this case, it's going to give you a 30% skill XP gain. And, you know, we're going to consume that right before, or as close to possible, as this making a full circle all the way around. So just before this gets there, we'll consume that, or we'll consume a cranberry and get that 30% bonus on top of it. So we'll kind of try and time it out here. I've got other cranberries, so I don't care if this one spoils in my inventory. It really doesn't bother me. But if we've got another, let's call it 35 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. So we'll have to try and time this out. In the meantime, nice foggy day. This is, you know what, hats off to the devs. The scenery, the ambiance, everything about this game, the artwork is stellar. I mean, there's clipping, don't get me wrong, but the stuff is beautiful. You know, they did such a great job, and they spent awesome amounts of time and detail. And then here's one cool thing, right? So the whole game is played in third person, right? You're over the right shoulder, left shoulder of this guy, Except when you go in something like this and it switches to first-person view, which is kind of cool. And you look around inside of here. Now I'm told there's other buildings at the higher levels, tier 3. This is tier 2. But I'm told that there's other buildings that you can actually enter. The only other place that happens is in your personal tent. Oops, I got stuck here. So when you go into your personal tent, you can't go into the houses. They're, for whatever reason, they're blocked off, right? So only the villagers are allowed in their houses. And then you go into your own personal shack here, and it switches to first-person view for just a second. It's not very big, obviously. You can't really do much in here. Except pass out on your little sleeping mat, and you got a little personal chest here that you can store some stuff. It's not very big either, and it doesn't stack. That's the thing that drives everybody nuts. This is single slots only, and what do you got? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 21, 28 slots, and they don't stack. If you take a look in your stockpile, these do stack. Look, there's 43 coins in this one slot. Now, it does take away from the 400. You get total 400 capacity, and that's these slots. This coin only happens to take up 1 slot in your inventory. These arrows take up 6. So 1 pack of arrows, take this, it would say, if I took one of these out, it would say 110. There it goes. You throw it back in, takes up 6 slots. So of the 400 available little squares, this is taking up, one of these is taking up 6 of those. This, 1 slot, right? So it's down to 115, 116. Books are 1 slot. Food is 1 slot. And then you've got other things like your pants. They take up 2 slots. Your torso armor takes up 4 slots, right? Everything takes up a certain number of these little squares. Your helmet takes up 1 slot. And your weapons and things like that. So here, this takes up 3 slots. Your bow. Certain weapons only take up 2 slots. Some take up a few more. That only takes up 2 slots. Shovels and hoes, they take up 6 slots just like arrows do. I don't know why arrows are so big. Arrows are not nearly as big as a hoe, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay, so we've busted off a few more minutes. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, see, I think they're probably right. I think 500 XP takes about 30 minutes, so 1500 takes about 90 minutes. I could be wrong, but we'll keep looking around. Let's see, what does that look like? So there's a little more spoilage on the cranberry. I don't know that we're going to make it all the way down, though, but that's okay. Again, we'll come back to it. So in the meantime, I can't move my mouse down here because it's obviously here. Let's do this. Let's do the inventory. Okay, now I can move my mouse. So down over here, so you see your different slots, right? So 1, 2, and 3, those are listed here, and they're the health and well-being of your item, because everything has wear and tear. So you can see here that this rugged axe down here is about, 45% of lifespan left on it. The hammer, which I almost never use because I'm an archer and I don't like to get into hand-to-hand combat because people just beat the living snot out of me. So I like to stay away. But the axe I use often, right? Chopping down trees and chopping up logs and stuff for making wood, for making the arrows. Those sorts of things. So you're constantly going through those and, get the tool makers to keep those topped up for you because you're going to need them. So anyway, so that's been a tour of the housing area. So we've got the kitchen area, right? We've got the cooking pots, which you've seen before. There's a well here so you can get water to fill up the cooking pots. The outhouse. Outhouse is not so anybody can go to the bathroom. It's so that you can throw away items you no longer want. So nice, and here flies in it too. That's cool. So if you got something in here in your inventory that you want to just get rid of, get it out of the game forever, you'll put it in the outhouse within a minute or less than a minute. that will disappear forever. It's gone, history. So if you put something in there on accident, you basically have a few seconds to pull it back out, or it will be deleted from the game, which is not a lot of fun. If you put something in there like a book or something you didn't mean to. All right, barns. Barns have a lot more storage than stockpiles. They go up to 1,000. And then there's much, much, much bigger things later in the game, like Tier 3. Which I don't have yet because this is only Tier 2. We haven't gotten up to Tier 3 levels yet. And so moving down the row, and again, this is the whole idea of kind of making this a homey village. We've got our toolmaker across there with a furnace for smelting copper, iron, and tin. So copper and tin can be smelted independently or together in order to make brass. And then iron obviously can be smelted to make iron ore, which you need for some of the later Tier 2 stage weapons and armor. And then a drying rack where you can dry rawhide and make, or dry hide and make rawhide. And that obviously is used in both crafting weapons and armor as well. And then the weaver's hut behind it, which allows you to do things like your Tier 1, you can do, let's see, we want to go to the loom here. You can do linen, rope, simple cord, and thatch, which again are all materials for making various things. Everything from buildings to armor and weapons. And then you can also craft anything that you've researched. As long as you have a high enough craft skill, you can craft that. Here, I'm sorry, not anything. Well, yeah, this is the loom. I'm sorry, the weaver's. I don't know, weaver's table. Maybe I think this is called. Anyway, so this is part of the weaver's hut. But here you can actually tell them anything that you've researched. You can tell them to make, right? Manufacture here, and you can tell them to either do top off or one off, top up or one off rather. And if you top up, you're basically saying always have this many in inventory. And by inventory, it means in storage somewhere in your village, not on a person. So as soon as you make a seed pouch and then you use it, it goes out of your inventory and you say top up, and they will make another one or another 3 or another 12 or whatever you have this set for. So once they get there, you'll see this target amount reached. I don't know why they do this in red. They could maybe make this in green or something else, because otherwise, when you have something that doesn't have enough materials, it's also listed with an exclamation point and is in red. So they're not easy. Oh, it's right here. I don't have my glasses on. So target amount reached and then not enough resources. So obviously this is missing something. We need bronze ingots in order to make whatever this is. Breaches the knee pads. Put my glasses on, I can actually read. So in order for them to make this, they're waiting on the material bronze ingots, which again are made either across the way or in the bloomery, which is down there a ways. The bloomery is Tier 1, the furnace is mid-Tier 2. And then across the way, we have the tool maker, which is Tier 2 equivalent of the simple workbench, where these guys will manufacture any of the weapons and armor and cloth quivers and tools, shovels. You can actually manufacture straps. When you step up to Tier 2, which if you guys were Tier 1 or have never played the game before, straps are used for making weapons and armor and doing research for different buildings that require them. So in order to get a Tier 2 village hall, you need 15 of these straps, which are tough to come by in the early stages of Tier 1, where you're killing bandits and hopefully they'll drop these things on occasion. And getting 15 of them at any one fell swoop while you're trying to do research on other things is a grind. You're killing a lot of NPCs in order to get there. So it's really nice that they gave you the ability in order to make these. And you see they take bronze ingots and wood in order to make them. And then your tool maker can come in here and actually start pumping these things out. And, you know, having a healthy amount of straps on hand is always a good thing because, you know, taking a look at here, this simple pickaxe, it takes one, right? So if you want to make multiple pickaxes, you need multiple straps. Moving up to pretty much any of the weapons, any of the decent weapons anyway. Warhammer does not take straps. I don't have anything in here listed, but let's see. What else do you got? It's making me a liar right quick, isn't it? I mean, there's a ton of stuff that requires straps. It doesn't look like it is right now, but there really is a ton of stuff that requires straps, and so you're going to go through them. And there's two right there for the battle axe. So each battle axe requires two of these. Short swords, I think Messers takes two, Pitchfork takes one, Rondell doesn't take any, Sax takes two, Short Sword takes two, Warhammer doesn't take any. So you get the idea. So all of these different things have the different materials that are necessary for them, and trust me, straps will come in handy, right? You'll need them for a lot of stuff. But you know, this part of the game, by the time you get to mid to upper level tier 2, which is I think where I'm at in this playthrough, and you're able to make them, so you can manufacture them relatively quickly. And copper and tin on the map are pretty readily available just about everywhere. So you can go out and mine those things with a mining camp in tier 1 and be able to make bronze ingots even in the bloomery. And so you've got a handy, ready supply of tier 1 stuff. All right, let's see where we're at on our reading. How much time do we got there? Maybe 10 minutes, if I had to guess. And checking our inventory. Oh, look at that. That cranberry is taking a long time to go away. If any of you were watching what time I put that in my bag, leave it in the comments below. And it's currently, you know, almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I want to say it was sometime in the early morning hours, although the villagers, I believe, were awake, so it was after 6 and probably closer to 8 if I had to guess. So that's been in my bag for a long time, and it's still got probably 55% of its shelf life left before we have to eat it. And so it's only going to last 3 hours. I don't think this is 3 hours of game time remaining, but I'm going to let it go for just a little while longer while I continue showing you around the village. And then when we get to the end of the village, we'll check back. So, trophies, you'll see these all over my village and all over everybody's village. They give you 125 renown. And again, renown is the currency you spend for getting villagers from the towns to come and live with you and work in your village. More barn storage, loaded with stuff. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff that's being crafted, and it's not on my people yet. But you know what? Since we're looking right here, and I saw somebody walk by, just take one of each of these. Come here, you. You look like you need a new hat. Slam that on and let's check you out. Oh, get over here. That's a cool look. Alright. You got upgraded armor. There's another house. We got a couple of settlers in here. 2 out of 3. So that's just down at the end of the village. Oh, you can almost go in there. Look. Let's see. You can't go in there that way, but you can go in there this way. That's creepy looking. This guy's staring in the doorway like a pervert. That's terrible. We gotta put him in jail. And then some empty space out here where over here, impossible to build. There's a bunch of junk in the way. If you get a shovel, you can dig out some of these stumps and get some wood out of it. I think you get 4 wood. Unless you have a really high harvesting skill, maybe you get a little bit more. So if you get the shovel, you dig those out. And the other stumps that you get from cutting down trees, there'll be a fairly good sized stump left here. Did I knock any of these down yet? No, probably not. Let's take one out. Not with a hammer. With an axe. There we go. Let's take one of these one-hit wonders out. Okay, and there you see this big old honking stump left behind. Now, you'll notice this one says, hey, grab yourself a shovel and dig me up, and you'll get some wood out of it. And this one does not. But I think, I'm going to go test this theory. I knocked down a bunch of trees over here earlier in the game. You can see the tree laying there still. And the stumps that were here have gone away. So they do, over time, disappear. So let's say that they disintegrated into the ground. I need some of these berries. Because I can eat this and still put this one in my inventory. See, look, okay. So I ate that berry. It's over here. I consumed it and left it there. Now this one, I'll consume it. And again, you saw that it was down to 50% of its shelf life. 100% once you consume it. So now, those 2 berries on me, I forget how long does that first one last? Does it even say? Let's pick a berry and take a look at it. 2 hours and 30 minutes. So the first 2.5 hours, this berry will metabolize in my system. And if you look over here, you can see that it's already going down. I mean, so the game time, obviously, a 24-hour day moves by pretty quick in the game. That's 2.5 hours, and you can visibly watch it go down. So I ate that cranberry because it's, by the time that book expires, oh look, it did already expire. Ooh. Well, does anybody remember what I had for one-handed when I started? I can't remember. I may have missed it. It may have ticked by and might have missed it. All right. Well, we're going to read another book anyway. It doesn't work when you first put it on. It only works at the very end. And I was busy showing you around and talking about stumps because I'm a stump myself. Anyway, all right. So, well, we got down to this end of the village, and what do we got down here? We have the tanning rack, where you can tan hides and add fur, add pelts, make leather, right? You got your tanning hut, and you can craft leather gloves, leather from rawhide and pelts, and then crude wool. So you can take fur and turn it into, is it just fur by itself? I don't know, it gets down there at the bottom, so it's hard to tell. Let's see. Let's do all. Armors. Leather gloves. Resources. Crude wool is just fur. Okay, good. But it requires a crafting skill of 8, and obviously I don't have a crafting skill of 8, or it wouldn't give me a red mark. My crafting skill is currently 6. So I cannot craft any of those items on here. Alright, I have to get somebody with a higher crafting skill than I to do something with it. You'll notice this big honking building goes all the way over to here. Look at the space this thing takes. It's like 2 houses almost, side by side. That's a lot. And then this tanning rack here I put next to this building only because it seemed like a fitting spot in the village for it to show up. So anyway, so that's that. That's the main part of the village, and as I continue to build, will continue to come down here, expanding back over to the road over here. And you see there's a pretty good size area. Off in the distance there is a tier 2 lumberjack hut, whatever the hell they call it, I forget what it's called. Anyway, logging. And then over here is just kind of an opening, a natural opening, right? This was already here. I didn't knock these trees down or anything. It's a natural opening that leads out to the road. So I put these 2 fences up as kind of a guide here to start building the village down in here and just add some continuity to it, make it nicer to look at. You don't get anything for style points in this game, but you know, you're going to live in it, you're going to work with it, you're going to do all these things for a long time, you might as well have it aesthetically pleasing, I guess. And then back over here to the top of this hill where we started earlier, this first thing is a mud hut, and there's a mud pit that's right here in front. And as you dig this mud up, it must regenerate because I know I've dug these first 4 or 5 pieces out of here. You get a shovel, you dig, you pick up anywhere from 10 to 14 mud, and you use it for things like the mixing bucket, and the mixing bucket will allow you to create fertilizer and cob. And you can see that they take peat and water, which I can get, and water, straw, which we have plenty of because we're getting wheat, and then mud. It takes 2 muds in order to make cob. And what's cob used for? Furnace, building materials, all different sorts of things. And when I say the furnace, it's a building material for the furnace. Look, here we are. Snow is coming. I told you the weather changes around here like the Wizard of Oz. Boy, it's just really quick. No indication that the winter is coming until you start to take a look at the mountains and, of course, the snow on the ground. And now the berries will all have gone away because it's winter. So you go take a look at these bushes where we just picked berries from a little while ago, and there's no more berries. So picking season is over for at least the foreseeable future in here. But that has been a tour of my beginning to mid-level tier 2 village-ish. There's outposts and things like that I'll talk about in a later video, but I think I'm going to call it here. And I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and check Bellwright out with me. It's a great game. I'm having a blast. If you've played the game, leave me a comment below and tell me where you're at. Are you playing the pre-release version, which is kind of the open version to everyone, or are you playing not the play test, but the preview, kind of the beta version of it, and seeing like the cutting edge changes that the devs are making. Look how beautiful this is. I mean, they did such a great job there. Or are you playing the pre-release? I'm sorry, which of those two that you're playing? Are you on the cutting edge version with the bugs and and the changes that are being made on the regular? And what do you like or dislike about it? What's your favorite parts of the game? Obviously for me, the aesthetic of building the village, bringing the villagers in, just kind of the simulation effect. Yeah, you can get into the combat, and there's people that have talked about the kludginess of the combat. Archery is pretty much on par with just about every other game I've played of this type. The hand-to-hand combat takes a little bit of getting used to. Blocking and counter punches, it's tough. And I've never been really good at hand-to-hand melee combat in any game that I've ever played. The hand-eye coordination is just not something that I'm really good at, especially on the keyboard. With the controller, definitely, but this game doesn't currently have controller support. They're talking about releasing it for console at some point in the future, so controller support obviously will have to become a thing. Whether or not they'll release that for the PC version, I have no idea. But in the meantime, as my villagers are heading off to bed, I am going to do the same. So again, I thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel if you like game content like this, as I just started getting into making the video content, but have been playing these games with friends who are making videos of their own. A shout out to Huckster. I will try and link his channel somewhere in one of my videos or in the description or someplace thereabouts on my channel. You guys can check it out. And just let me know what else you'd like to see. If there's anything in the game, if you have any questions, if you're in Discord or not in Discord, and checking that stuff out there as well. So, again, I have rambled on endlessly, and I would hope that you will be coming back again soon to visit us, and that's pretty much about it. So, thank you, and good night.